back and listen to. Rob Anderson in New York. What's up, Rob?
Hey, Scott, how are you? Super powerful. David, I had actually never heard that story before. So thank you. And we had connected a few weeks ago on Clubhouse, and we talked about the importance of education. And that's a space I'm wickedly committed to. And what we had talked about was curriculum and creating a new curriculum. And what does that curriculum look like? And we had outlined 5 steps. You had outlined 5 steps, as you just articulated: gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, effective communication, and practice of coherence through the matrix of importance through Eisenhower. And the question is, what's the next step? You had just spoken about how powerful those 5 steps have been in your life. And I agree, those are the steps that a new curriculum, school curriculum, need to be based upon. Now that we have an outline, what's the next step of implementation that you would envision to impart guidance on our educators and certainly on our teachers as well? Grateful for you.
Grateful for you. And daily practices. So I mentioned real briefly the what, the who, the how, the now, and the why. And if we can teach this curriculum, these values that you stated, utilizing 5 daily practices that are simple, incorporate a ton of different lessons and sub practices to them, but understanding why. So what I want people to do is pay attention, focus in on the daily practices, taking into consideration your individual mid and long-term goals, taking into consideration that life's about lessons. So I'm a hypocrite. I want to change my mind because that means I'm improving, progressing, promoting, and learning. And what we want, the objective of education, is to learn lessons, to be promoted and protected by the lessons, not punished by the lessons. So I would teach these daily practices according to every individual's midterm and long-term objectives, allowing them to utilize gratitude, forgiveness, and accountability to change their mind, to not be afraid of knowing what they want personally, experientially, giving wise, and receiving wise. I'd be a big teacher of the ask. Know who they can inspire and help, and who can inspire and help them. Know how to utilize time in order to effectuate the productivity, accessibility, and gratitude. Teach them that matrix of importance by understanding prioritization of the what, the who, and the how, and then teaching them to apply their why, to be inspired, to know and have them be confident in what they're connected to and through, regardless of their belief system. And utilizing those 5 daily practices, I would teach them the mathematical equation of luck or success. I would teach them to pay attention to the daily practices, but I would teach them the 5 levels of intention in the 5 daily practices, because attention plus intention equals the coincidences in your life. And if you get the coincidences you want occurring in your life that you want, people think you're lucky. Biggest compliment people give or reaffirmation they give in my life is like, oh, Dave Meltzer, how lucky is he? Have you seen his family? You know, that guy never gets sick. Do you know how rich he is? Oh my God, you see all these things. Yeah, you know why? Because I pay attention to and I understand the 5 levels of intention. And what are those 5 levels? I say the right things. I do the right things, aligned with what, who, how, and now for me. I think the right things. I believe the right things, and I feel the right things. These are the 5 levels of intention. And if we can utilize and get people to say the right things, to speak out. Remember, saying the right thing is wishing for what you want. Wish for what you want, say it, speak it, then do it, then think it, then believe it, and you'll feel it. That feeling of the inspiration of being in alignment with the great source of omniscient, all-powerful, and all-knowing is incredible. And what do? We just teach people to spend minutes and moments interfering with it. And so you have to identify the ego-based consciousness, the need to be right, offended, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, guilty, resentful. And instead of teaching people to resist it, overcome it, oversell it, go around it, under it, and through it, lie to it, manipulate it, and cheat it, be afraid of it, I just teach people to stop. Breathe through their nose and out through their mouth, remembering that plateau in the morning, their higher self, and getting back to that higher self, getting back to center, dropping down into their center, into their peace, and then rolling in what? the right trajectory of the what, the who, the how, and the now. Only spending minutes and moments in ego-based consciousness, only spending minutes and moments interfering with your higher self. This is where we live in happiness. This is what we need to teach these people. And I will, along with it, teach them to make a lot of money so they can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. So there is a pragmatic element. I'm not just teaching some woo-woo spiritual philosophy of happiness lying around. It's actually a pragmatic way to be more productive and accessible and gracious.